we would have other types of town halls that we would do as we work closer to the event dates and other times when there are special announcements that need to be done and stuff like that. And so I'm really excited that Lindsay was able to put this one together and tee up the agenda and just do some really fun things with it. Excited because we get to see you all more often, right? We get to see your hopefully smiling faces, not grumpy looks, no sour looks. Come on now. And have a great conversation where we'll cover some really fun topics. World Championships, is it getting better than that? Seriously? And in many cases, qualification information and stuff like that. So we're excited. We hope you're excited. We'll get it rolling. You should know with Lindsay, she was the one that was speaking a little while ago. We also have on the call, Jeff Manson. At least I think Jeff's on the call. Jeff is probably hiding in this checkerboard of faces that we have, 125 people. He's the person that manages all of our travel and transportation stuff for our World Championships, is a really key component for what it is that we do. Earl may be on the call as well, our Director of Education, and we've got others with USAT that may be populating. If they're not on there now, they may be populating the call as we go through this. And this is kind of part and parcel. We have a great team of people that actually get behind our effort, and we thank them for doing what they do too. Again, we talk about cadence. And the cadence of this particular call is going to be really touching on the movements forward with our World Championships. We have an incredible schedule of races ahead of us. And I'm excited, Lindsay's excited that we will hopefully be able to get to the events this year. We will not have the return to the pandemic situation where we had many cancellations and moving parts, although we will touch on really quickly some of the things that are still a question mark in part that we're working with the World Triathlon on, so that we provide obviously answers to you guys that are maybe in waiting about what the future might hold in store for you around some of these disciplines. So let's start off. Let's go right into the update on the World Championship. The middle distance duathlon in Viborg, Denmark on May 7th. Looks firmly in place. We're pretty good on that event happening. How many on this call have ever been to Denmark? You guys been to Denmark? It's a great country. I have always enjoyed myself in Denmark. I get into trouble sometimes because I eat too much of their food, which I love. And so hopefully that's not an excuse for me to go. I'd love to go to Viborg or to Denmark again. So hopefully you guys on this call will have a chance to experience the culture there. The second event we'll mention is Romania, cross tri-do, standard sprint do, June 6th through 12th. And one of the things that we know to be true right now is we're going. You know, we understand there's a political climate that's creating some question marks for some of you to the north of Ukraine and Russia. But we also have very, very close communications with World Triathlon staff. And we have posed the question to them. And we have had conversations with other race managers of other countries. And we've been told right now it is having zero impact on what's going to happen in Romania. And so we're very confident that the schedule will stay as is, stay positioned on the calendar as they are, and we'll have a chance to experience what is an amazing city with a lot of culture from what we've been told. And we'll be there for a few extra days because there's so many events that are going to take place on the calendar. Sprint Tri and Mixed Relay in Montreal, Canada, June 22nd through the 26th. Probably most of you have been to Canada. We've been to Montreal. We were at Worlds in Montreal back in 2005. Help me out. Somebody maybe was at the event. We actually that year did 10 laps on the bike. And I remember being in the athlete meeting talking about how we were going to do the rubber band system, where you had 10 rubber bands, and after each lap on the bike, you took a rubber band and you put it on your bars. You did not put it on your other wrist. Anybody know why? Because guess what? When you got 5 on one wrist and 5 on the other wrist, you're like, oh crap, was I going left to right or right to left? Now I'm confused. And so we had people put them on their bars and whatnot, and it was a great event. It's a beautiful city. It's an underground city. It's a city that has a lot of businesses, a lot of restaurants underneath the main level. And so it's a really cool culture relative to that, and it's very French and a lot of great things to do there. long course due in Zofingen, Switzerland, September 4th. And this is one we'd love for a lot more of you guys to actually think about this race. It's really the Ironman equivalent, but for duathlon. The weather is always horrible. It's always raining, or it's 35 degrees. And so you think you're tough doing some Ironmans, you should try this race. This one has provided all the challenges that our top athletes have come home from, saying, I loved it. It buried me, but it was fun. It's a hilly bike. It's a technical bike. It's up and down, and it's crazy. Jim Griffiths has been a medalist there. Jim's on this call. We've had others on this call probably that have been medalists there as well. We'd love to see that number jump from what, Lindsay? The 30s up to something, maybe double it, get in the 50s and 60s. And so longer term, Zofingen is usually the place where we go for long due. And hopefully we'll be able to make that work as a future site for us to get more athletes to as we go forward. The other is the Olympic Tri Standard Aqua Bike and Super Sprint Tri in Abu Dhabi, slated for November 2022. And the reason why we didn't put a date with that month, and this is, again, something that we're waiting patiently for from World Triathlon, is we've been told there's going to be a date shift. We don't know to when. And so we pushed, and Lindsay received some intel today that it's going to be coming hopefully soon. I'm not going to tell you within the week, because as soon as we say within the week, then it doesn't have within a week, then you're all emailing Lindsay saying, hey, we're going to hear in a week. We don't want that to happen with Lindsay, because her inbox is crazy the way it is. So we're going to say, as soon as we know, you will know what the exact date's going to be. Now, here's the reason why. They did race this past November in Abu Dhabi with the juniors and elites. And they found that the water temperature was exceedingly warm, to the extent that there was a lot more dehydration and impact and effect of what happens when you are in a very, very warm swimming pool, outdoor swimming pool, not indoor. I just say that because it's a, at that temperature, most swimming pools are 84 degrees, and it was much warmer than that, we've been told, that you have a situation where they are looking at a different date. We don't know what that means. So please don't email Lindsay what that means. It could be December. It could be a little bit earlier. We know that some of you had made reservations to Abu Dhabi already, and you're like pulling your hair out right now hearing this. And we apologize on behalf of World Triathlon for that. But hopefully the airlines are open enough to if you have to change your reservation, you will. So please know, we're going to make that effort known to you that the date is such, and we'll start building plans around that once we do here. The other thing that we also want to make very clear is that there have been some athletes who've said, hey, I understand that the political climate is not conducive to a certain segment of our sport. And I'll just say right now that if you are one who is not apt to go to a country where you are concerned about the laws of the country and the culture that sometimes they support, there is a process that we would have you go through. And there's a form that you would need to complete. And you can download this form. And then it's got a deadline. It's coming, Lindsay. The deadline is the end of this month, right? And so you will be required to complete that, the answers that you would provide to us for the questions that we pose within that are really critical. And they're not observed and reviewed by us. We have a panel we put together of the age group committee. They will review the few applications we've received from some individuals to allow people to either be accepted or denied through that qualification process. The reason why we created this about safety and about laws is that this is not related to COVID. Just because you are concerned about what the situation might be in November, that's not going to be allowed, because if they have the event, then we are trusting in our policies that we've had longer term, that we have the athletes compete. If you choose not to compete, then you have to requalify for next year's Worlds. It's not related to, I don't want to go in November. I've changed my mind. I want to go on a different date. Again, that's not acceptable reason for backing out of that event as well. And so we will just make that very clear on the form. And there's a thing at the bottom, you'll attest it to you being honest and truthful. And we just do that because we want you to be honest and truthful about the fear that you have if that event is one that you're feeling the laws won't allow you to go and compete with the comfort of other competition you might actually do. All right, with that said, that is the schedule. Now, we've got a couple other ones that we're waiting on. Long course, Tri, and Aquathlon Worlds. Again, still no date. We are becoming less optimistic that we're going to have a date for that particular discipline, the two disciplines. Again, it was supposed to be the multi-sport world split, where you would have had one multi-sport world location handling these events, and the one that was going to be the following weekend was going to be these other events, the ones we're talking about, long course tri and aquathlon worlds. Right now, the fear is that we're not maybe going to have that. There is one mention that aquathlon could go to Romania, but we're not banking on that because it's only rumor. It's only discussion that is being had with people that are on the inside. And so we're not going to do anything with any of this until we know for certain what's going to happen with that. So if you are part of a long course team hoping to get to that other part of multi-sport worlds, please be patient and we'll have information for you reasonably soon. All other worlds, in worlds into 2023, we're all talking about world championships, hopefully still staying on a schedule. The issues that we're experiencing now with this other multi-sport world championship hopefully will be something of the past, and we'll be able to get everything going as we know it can and should. Numbers on the pandemic, as you guys have probably seen with this latest, is way down. Hospitalizations are way down. The rest of the world sort of mirrors what we're seeing, and so we're getting good news from overseas that the rest of the schedule should stay as is. Now let's shift to gear. Enough of me talking on world locations and whatnot. We're going to get into the wonderful area of soft goods, of clothing. And we have a resident expert here to talk about that for us, and that is Miss Lindsay Welker, who has been living in this space for many months. So Lindsay, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks for the update on all the worlds for 2022. I'm just going to pause real quick before we go into the clothing and the gear. There are just a couple questions regarding worlds locations that I'm just going to pose to you because we're totally going to shift gears here in a second. So one question that has been posed is, if the U.S. government advises citizens not to travel to Romania, will USAT take our government's advice?
Well, one of the things, it's a really good question, actually. One of the things that we will do is we'll go to the USOPC. USOPC is really our barometer for safety, our barometer for what precautions are being taken on the ground for Americans traveling to that particular part of the world. And so we would, yes, the government may have their statement, but we know the body that we really follow, that understands sport competition, travel overseas, risk relative to countries traveling as teams, they would be our go-to and our lead. Depending what they tell us, we would either go or we would not go, not attend. And so that's the way I would respond to that, is we have our own agency that obviously is also in contact with government officials about what needs to happen and what's being told to the athletes' movements overseas, whether it be related to world championships or related to Olympic Games or what the situation might be. So that's the answer to that. Great question.
Thanks, Tim. Another question, do our contacts for Abu Dhabi think that it could be pushed to December or even to January of 2023?
Yeah, we just don't know. We have not actually heard, even on the inside, sitting on the World Triathlon Multisport Committee, we have not been told anything by anyone within World Triathlon as to what that date might be. Now, here's the thing. If the water is too warm, this is our view of this. If the water is too warm on the 1st of November, it means that they could be looking at a couple weeks shift later, because there might be enough of a temperature shift with the water. We don't know what happens with water and ambient air, that the hope would be it does not land on Thanksgiving. We have reached back to them to say, please, for the sake of the American team, do not put this on Thanksgiving, which obviously would be the last week of November. Could it land in December? It could. We've also gone back to them, say, please don't put it too close to the holidays, because every country will then be affected by the inability and really just the idea of going to worlds when the holidays are around us and we're trying to prepare for school ending for kids and whatnot. It's not always easy to make December work either. But you know what? Whatever they give us, we'll commit to and we'll stand behind and we'll make it work. Okay.
Thanks, Tim. do you want to touch quickly on the auto qualification with the conflict for Romania and off-roads nationals in June? Are you frozen? Tim might be frozen. Are you
I
back?
just lost you guys. I'm sorry.
You're back.
I'm back. I just heard you start talking, Lindsay. Sorry.
All good. Do you just want to touch quickly on the auto qualification with the conflict of Romania cross and triathlon and duathlon and our off-roads national championships?
Go ahead.
Great. Okay.
I'll have you touch on it. You're very versed in this too.
Okay, great. So if you are competing in Romania as part of Team USA for cross triathlon or cross duathlon, and you compete and finish the race, then you will automatically be qualified for 2023 cross triathlon or cross duathlon, whatever you compete in.
And this was a really important step for us to take, you guys. When we started looking at the conflict of schedules is really what precipitated this, right? So we're talking about national championships and world championship dates being really close to each other. We went back to the multi-sport committee and the age committee and said, hey, what do you think? What if we were to do this? Would you support that? They supported it overwhelmingly. And so Lindsay and I came back and said, okay, let's do the auto qualification around this. And if you, again, finish the race, the door is yours to be opened for this next year's event. And we just felt that was a really positive gesture that we would do for athletes that make this commitment to going to Worlds. So Lindsay, you were much more eloquent than I would have been. So nice job on that.
Thanks. Okay, just one more question before we move to clothing. And I'll just make this a statement rather than posing the question. If your event, so mainly long course, aqua bike or long course triathlon or aquathlon does not happen in 2022, yes, your spot will be rolled over to 2023. That question has been posed multiple times. I see in the chat. You won't lose your spot if your Worlds does not happen. But if your Worlds does happen and you choose not to attend, then your spot does not carry over. Is that correct?
Yeah, and here's where you need to really think about what your national championship schedule is going to look like. Is you might want to get to that qualifier just in case your hope that something happens doesn't happen, right? So you want to be qualified through every possible means. So you don't look back and say, hey, can I qualify through a different system? Can I qualify some other different way? Well, we're not going to be able to do that because you can imagine the number of requests we get from people saying, hey, you're not going to fill the team. Can I still come? Because I kind of missed the qualifier because I didn't think I need to go to it. So let's not put you in that particular position and go to the qualifiers and earn the right to go to the Worlds. And then if something else happens around that, then you can make that adjustment.
Sweet. I know there's a lot of other questions coming into the chat, but we have a full agenda, so I'm going to keep moving. And at the end, we will move through more questions. Does that sound okay, Tim?
Yep, let's do it, Lindsay. The floor is yours. You got a lot to cover in this particular segment.
Perfect. So I know that there's been a lot of questions out there regarding tri-suits for 2022. And so we're gonna clear this up right now. So we have a new partner for 2022. We're super excited. Our tri-suits, tri-kits, whatever you want to call them, they will be Zone 3 for 2022 and for 2023. Actually, it'll be a two-year kit. So going forward from 2022 or starting this year, you cannot wear a Roca kit, a tier kit, whatever kit you have, you cannot wear it. We have a brand new kit for 2022. We're super excited to unveil it. It should be unveiled by the end of the month. I know there's been a lot of questions about when can I order it. We are finalizing the ordering platform with Zone 3 right now, just working through some final logistics. And as soon as we get that ordering platform link from them, we will push that out to all the athletes. So there's been a lot of inquiries of, have I missed it? Can you send it to me? No one's missed anything yet. It hasn't been pushed out yet, but it is coming. It'll be here really soon, and we will send that out. It'll actually come from USAT, not from Zone 3. So just be on the lookout for that. That should come by the end of February is what we've been told. So, and don't worry about getting it in time. We've been guaranteed by Zone 3 that the turnaround time will only be about 2 weeks max from the time you receive it in hand. So there should be no concern about getting it in time for Worlds. So.
And one of the things, Lindsay, that we were told that if by remote chance, crazy chance, it doesn't come in, we've got New Zealand uniforms that we've set aside for you to wear if you needed to. So you'll, I'm just kidding, guys. That really isn't the case, but we guarantee you the uniforms will arrive, okay? Well, Lindsay's gonna put herself on the line and I'm gonna stand right behind her. I'm not gonna stand in front of her in case that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Tim and I we'll get in the factory and we'll start. We'll
start sewing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but all jokes aside, the link is coming. We promise. The kits are really cool. We're really excited about them. Really good quality. So another note on that is, I know there's been some questions and comments about athletes calling Zone 3 directly to order the kits. Please do not do this because they might actually send you the wrong kit. It is what we've been told by Zone 3 that their customer service reps on the phone might not be looped in on what exactly is the right Team USA age group suit. So please just refrain from calling Zone 3 directly, and we promise we'll get that link out to you to order as soon as we have that. And then the next topic is parade kits. I know we've talked about this a lot. There's been a lot of emails that have gone out regarding parade kits, but just kind of one final note we wanted to touch on today is, if you have not ordered your parade kit for 2022, and I just want to throw out there that it is mandatory to race as part of Team USA. You need it to wear in the opening ceremonies and the Parade of Nations. You need it if you get a podium spot. It's required to wear on the podium. So it is mandatory to purchase the parade kit. And if you if you have not ordered it yet for this year, the deadline actually to order it is this Sunday, February 13th. And this is not a deadline from USA Triathlon. This is a deadline from our partners. And we understand that this might seem a little bit early, but unfortunately, just with there's been some issues with delays with the ports and getting fabric from overseas and just shipping delays. This is just the required deadline in order to ensure that we have a kit in hands to all of you in time before you leave for your Worlds. And Worlds are earlier this year. Last year our Worlds were the end of the year, and we have 3 Worlds before the end of June. So this is just a required deadline that we've been told that has to be put in place. So we appreciate the understanding. And if you have not purchased that kit, just make sure that you get that done by this Sunday. And if you don't, then we cannot guarantee that there will be any inventory in your size for 2022. If one other thing I need to add on that note actually is, if you are traveling to Viborg or Romania and you have not ordered the parade kit, at checkout, we highly recommend that you choose express shipping. And this is because the kits aren't going to be done being cut until mid-April to end of April. And so in order to have it arrive in hand before you leave for Worlds, we would recommend choosing that express shipping just to have it, to ensure that you have it before you leave for Worlds. And then another note, I did just mention this, but We know a lot of you have pre-ordered them and you will be ordering them before Sunday. Don't worry that you haven't received them. Like I just said, the kits actually won't be mailed out until sometime in April, probably near the end of April. So that what you've ordered is mainly just a pre-sale, so they knew how much fabric to get and what are, units to cut and whatnot. So don't worry that you haven't actually received it. They're going to be shipped out to you in April.
Miss Lindsay, I've got some questions for you as soon as you're ready.
Go ahead, Tim. I'm ready.
You ready? All right. What Joe asked, sleeve jerseys and the rule change that has happened around the sleeve jersey racing option.
Oh, that's a great question. That actually that's a new rule for 2022, that this over the shoulder sleeve jerseys are approved for all distances now for 2022 and going forward. And Zone 3 will be offering that type of jersey that'll be available to purchase.
And I want to add that you can think about 5 countries that came together and said the rule doesn't make sense, and so we worked with these countries to put together a short overview as to the pros and cons of what we thought this would be if sleeve jerseys were outlawed, as they have for any event distance other than long. And so we obviously made a compelling enough argument in that push. And so please know that we do look out for you guys and your views and opinions, and we do listen and we do act. And sometimes we get to act with other countries in mind, and it makes us that much more powerful in our views. And sometimes great things like this actually result from that hard work. So another question for you, alterations that came in. I can't remember who asked it, but it was a question about if by chance we need to alter a uniform slightly here or slightly there, is that going to be allowed and not violation of the uniform policy of World Triathlon?
I guess it would depend on, what type of alterations are being done, because we've submitted, the uniform mocks to World Triathlon, and those have been approved. So I guess I would say send it to, myself or the TeamUSA email address before making any alterations, just to ensure that what you are having done would be, allowed to race in, just to ensure that you're not going to get disqualified.
Yep. Also speak to exactly what the parade kit will entail. So, because I think there are a couple questions that have arisen on that as well.
Yeah, so the parade kit this year is a pair of joggers, a tech t-shirt, and then a quarter zip like pullover hoodie jacket sort of item.
Yeah, no shorts.
There are not shorts as part of the required parade kit. However, there will be shorts available to purchase on the USAT store as an additional item that will be TeamUSA branded.
And finally, and this is not a question that anybody's posed of us, Lindsay, but we are also going to have some very special items that we're going to bring with us to World Championships that we will sell at our table. And so this is kind of that reminder that you need to come check out the TeamUSA info board. You need to come say hi, introduce yourself if we've never met you before, because we're going to have some options, and there'll be limited supply that we'll have with us. But we're not going to tell you what it is just yet, because we're going to surprise you with it as we get closer to event day and what those items might be. So we're excited by that.
Yeah, we have a lot of new items in the works. We're excited.
We do. We're moving on. All right. The other thing that we talk about often is communicating with our members, right? With TeamUSA. And I really like what we are seeing with these calls, where we have a chance to see you, to speak to you, for you to ask questions as you are through the chat, and other ways that we can communicate with you, email, and in some situations we've created new opportunities. But I really want Lindsay now to speak about communication updates and stuff like that going forward, so you have an idea of kind of the different options we have that we'll be communicating different things that come along.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, so, communication is definitely our number one priority with you guys. There's so many updates and changes and news that happens even daily in this world. So we do our best to get that information out to you guys, and we just appreciate the patience that you guys have with us and getting that out to you. So because of the numbers that we have this year and the large teams, which we're super excited about, if you've been on a team in 2021, we utilized Slack as our main form of communication. Unfortunately, we can't use Slack this year because the numbers are too big and we have a limit on how many users we can have on our Slack channels. So what I have done is I've set up Facebook pages for each of the world championships. So for Romania, for Montreal, for Abu Dhabi, for each event specific worlds. And if you're on one of those teams, what you can do is go onto our TeamUSA website and go to the 2022 events and click on your specific event. You'll see the logo and there's a link to your specific Facebook page. And what you can do is click on that link and then ask to join the group. And then I will accept you into the group. And then by doing that, we can send event specific updates in that Facebook group. So instead of bombarding you guys with emails every other day with updates, we can just post those quick updates or news or changes, whatever it might be, or even, reminders to put in your final registration. We'll post those in the Facebook group. So go on to our TeamUSA website and click to join your event specific group. I will also say that I am gonna double check that you are on that team just to make sure that we only have athletes that are on the team specific Facebook pages. And then, like I said, that will be our main form of communication this year, just due to the large numbers that we have. We still will be utilizing emails for larger pieces of information that we need to get out, but for those shorter updates that we want to send, those will come in the Facebook groups.
We tried pigeon drop off and it just didn't work. The pigeons kept getting lost and we had to call them back and redo the orders. And so we won't be using pigeon delivery anymore, just so you guys know. A couple of questions, Lindsay, that came up. Is it required to purchase parade kit now if we do not know if the aqua bike race will be scheduled?
Yeah, that's a tough situation. We know, and we've talked about that internally a lot. Unfortunately, in order to guarantee that you would receive one in your size, you would need to order that by that February 13th deadline. There will be some inventory after this deadline, but we can't guarantee that there's not going to be an endless number of sizes available after that deadline. So that's kind of the best that we can say on that.
Yep, agree with that 100%. Regarding the parade kits, is the hat required? Also, I thought the quarter zip was not required for Abu Dhabi.
The quarter zip is not a required piece. It's highly encouraged. The pants and the shirt and the hat are what we have said are the required pieces.
Okay. If we pre-ordered last fall, we need to submit for expedited shipping now? Question mark.
No, if you've already ordered your kit, there's nothing you need to do. The kits will be sent to you in April.
Okay. Can we still wear a long sleeve shirt under our TeamUSA race top, or do we have to buy the long sleeved uniform?
If it is a solid base layer that is like black or white or navy, then
without logos.
Without logos of any sort, yes, you can wear a long sleeve shirt under your kit.
How will communication take place for people that do not use Facebook?
emails.
Have similar Facebook pages been created for the disciplines without scheduled championships, i.e. aqua bike and long course tri?
No, they have not been. They have only been created for the ones that we have events dates for. But if there's a general consensus that athletes would like a page, the long course aqua bike and long course tri and aquathlon athletes, we certainly can make those other pages. Happy to do that.
Okay. What about the long distance folks that don't have a location or date for Worlds? What do we do?
I'm assuming that's in regards to the parade kits. And my same response would be what I just said. Unfortunately, it's just due to the situation with shipping and port delays, that in order to guarantee your size, you would have to order by the February 13th deadline. Like I said, there will be more inventory, but it might not be in your size. One thing I will say is that this is a 2-year kit. So if you plan to be on Team USA in 2023, then, go ahead and order this year. It's going to be the exact same kit for next year.
Okay, I'm just going through the questions real quick. You helped me out in the first session. I'm going to try to help you out in your session. Is the quarter red zip pullover from prior year okay to wear with the new parade uniform?
Yes. Right, Tim? I don't see why not.
Well, one of the things that we're trying to do is to get everybody as uniform as we can, right? So everybody looks the same. But as long as the color scheme is similar and we don't have brand conflict issues, we should be in a good place.
I see a question about if there will be 2-piece kits available, and yes, there will be.
Okay, and then the final one before we move on, because we do need to move on to finish up, that we can certainly manage other questions as they arise. What are we doing about zone 3 size charts not fitting the larger, taller end of our teammates?
I am not totally sure how, zone 3 and all their sizing works. But one thing I do know is that we have gotten confirmation from our zone 3 partner that one of their reps is actually going to be on most likely our next town hall. He's offered to be on one of our town halls to actually discuss with you all the sizing of the kits and how it might be different from the Roka suits, but he's going to actually talk through each suit and how the sizing is. So we can guarantee that will happen. That will either be on our next town hall in March or April.
His name's not Town Hall. He actually has a name, right? I just want to make sure that question was asked. His name's not Town Hall, correct? Yes, I think.
Did I say that? Sorry if I missed.
No, you're right. I'm kidding. Let's keep moving. Jeff Manson, our travel leader, is here joining us. Jeff, thanks for chiming in. Really appreciate it. I will say this, that Jeff Manson is a go-to person that every time I have anything that arises with my personal travel, my professional travel, Jeff has incredible insights. He's also really nice. He bought us lunch the other day too, which I have to thank him for. And I know Lindsay appreciated that as well. So we have meetings often where we get together and walk through things. He is really dialed in to everything that we're doing on the travel side. So Jeff, you've got a sneak peek on some things about what you do in Romania in particular. Do you want to cover some of that?
Yep, thanks, Tim. And by the way, Tim, I'm gonna have to start charging you for travel tips moving forward. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so I want to hit on several of the events, but Romania is the top one. So for Viborg, real quick, since the team isn't very big, we don't have hotel and travel packages for that, but we did identify a hotel that we blocked a few rooms at. I know Lindsay has sent that out to the team. So if you want to stay in a spot where hopefully some of the Team USA members will stay, that will be a hotel. I'll post that link here again, but I know Lindsay has sent that out. So first we'll talk about Romania. We have put together the hotel and travel packages for that. I've posted on the various Facebook pages. I know Lindsay has as well, and Judy too. I will also post that link here shortly in the chat. And I know Lindsay will be sending that out via email to the athletes in the newsletter and also to the team in the coming weeks. So you should have access to that link through various different avenues. We have 2 hotels that we've identified in Romania. One is Hotel Apollo, and that will be the host hotel for Team USA, and that is a couple miles outside of the city center. That will be where the Team USA support staff, the Team USA meetings, and info desk will be located, as that's one of the largest hotels in the area. So it is a couple miles outside of the city, but we've identified this hotel as probably the best spot for the team. The second hotel we have a room block at is Hotel Continental, and that'll be right down in the city center of Targu Mures, I believe is how it's said. So we have rooms there as well. So both those options are on the website. Now the location of the races, I know the LOC is about to send out the website for the event, hopefully soon, so we can get some more information. But we have been sent the locations of the races. The only race that's actually in the city center is the sprint duathlon, I believe. All other races are a little bit outside of the city. So the cross events are located near the zoo, which is just about 1.5 miles outside of the city center, so not too far. And then the standard do is about 20-minute drive from the city center. We have been told that there will be shuttles from the expo area, which we don't know where that is exactly, of the city to the race site. We don't know any more details yet. We just know that they will likely have shuttles to the race venue, at least on race day. So hopefully we'll get more information on that, and that will also be posted hopefully on their website when they launch that soon. Let's see, what else? Car rental. So if you do decide to rent a car, because the nearest airport is about 1.5 hours away, you would want to do that through that airport, but there are car rental options available there. Hotel Apollo does have free parking if you choose that hotel. It could be a little more challenging to drive in the city and find free parking, but the Hotel Apollo does have free parking there. And then hopefully the LOC will let us know, where to park for some of these venues as well if you do rent a car. Otherwise, getting around town, I'm just kind of waiting on the LOC to let us know the easiest ways, if there's buses and trains and that kind of thing. So hopefully they'll have that information, on their website. I'll touch base real quick on some COVID restrictions for Romania. Again, this is February. Things could obviously change in the coming, months, but just want to touch base so everyone's aware. So quickly, if you're fully vaccinated and you can show proof, there really are no restrictions to get into Romania. You don't have to show, you don't have to have a negative test. All you have to do is show proof of vaccination. The other thing is if you have had COVID within 180 days of going to Romania, you can show proof of recovery within 180 days. If you're unvaccinated, you would be required to show proof of negative test within 3 days of your departure. That's a PCR test. So if you do that, you will not have to quarantine upon arrival into Romania. If you do not show proof of negative test or proof of vaccination, right now the requirement is 5 days self-quarantine. So again, I will post a link here with some of the COVID restrictions, but again, these could change in the coming months and weeks, but that's currently what the restrictions are there. So I think that's it for Romania. Montreal, as many people know, that area, Quebec, Montreal, has been in lockdown until just recently, so it's been a little challenging to get the hotels to respond because they have been on lockdown. They just recently came out of lockdown, so we should have those hotel packages very soon, now that the hotels are finally responding to us. And then again, Abu Dhabi, as soon as we know dates, we will have our hotel and travel packages ready to go as soon as we get those dates confirmed. I think those are the main things. Tim, anything else? I know we're kind of pressed for time here, so I wanted to go quickly. So anything else you want me to touch base on?
But I say no. I think you did a good job covering that. Lindsay, anything else you want Jeff to cover?
No, Jeff, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I will just say that all the packages that Jeff offers, those are posted on our TeamUSA website on the event specific page. So if you go to the TeamUSA website and go to 2022 events, and then you click on your specific events, the link to book through him is on those pages.
Hey,
So
Jeff, could you please post your email address in the chat, please?
Yep, I just posted the link, and I'll post my email as well. And I will say the hotels in Romania are pretty small, so we do have a limited number of rooms there. So I expect those will sell out eventually. So I wouldn't wait too long. There's just not a ton of hotels in the area.
I see Gary asked the question, what's Exexit in Romania? It's Targu Mures. It's Targu, capital Mures. And I've not been corrected yet on the pronunciation, so I'll probably continue to mess that up. But anyway, that's where it is in Romania. All right. Lindsay, you were going to mention something about infographics, yes?
Yeah, so all of our infographics for 2022, for qualification at 2022 events for 2023 Worlds, all of that is posted on our TeamUSA website. I know I've mentioned the website a lot, but I just want to say that if you haven't checked it out, highly recommend going to the TeamUSA website. That's where we're also posting any updates that we have. I saw some comments in the chat that what if we're not on Facebook? I mentioned we'll also be sending out stuff via email, but we will also post any updates on our TeamUSA website. On the home page, there's a section that says news and updates, and that will all be housed under there. And then, like I said, there's a specific event page for each World Championships, and any information regarding that Worlds that we have, to date is on those pages. So I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't.
And one of the things, just so you guys know, and we're really good about this, is that we will collect questions over a period of time. And then we'll do a more of a blanketed approach with race management, right? So we're not doing one-offs every single day. And so it might be a little bit of a delay in some of the responses, but if we get 5 or 6 questions together, it seems a lot easier for the response to come more frequently from our overseas hosts when we do that. And then as we get close to race time, we will actually have an actual 3-page piece that the questions have not been answered in athlete guides and in other areas, websites, Facebook pages. We will do a final push to race management as well to get answers to questions that you have and that we also have. So a couple other things I want to add to this, what we just mentioned about infographics. Lindsay, one of the things that I want to touch on quickly are some of our 2023 venues. Ibiza, Spain is the first one. And I'll just tell you right now, if you've ever been to Ibiza, it is the craziest, most exciting, fun-filled, fun-packed location you'll ever go to in Spain. I've been there. We had a long course tri-worlds there many, many years ago. And I remember at 5 o'clock in the morning going to the venue and going by some discos. And there were more people probably outside hanging out in their cars at the disco than there were athletes competing in the event. So we just tell you, it is a fun, lively, exciting area. You will thoroughly enjoy yourselves, and we'll be supporting multi-sport worlds at that particular location. Pontevedra, Spain, for many of the duathletes especially, Pontevedra is an incredible course. We'll be going there in 2023 as well. Probably the most pure duathlon course that I've ever experienced. Now, granted, this is going to be for standard Olympic tri, super sprint time trial, and standard aqua bike, but the course they'll probably use is much of the same course that we've been using for Do Worlds and other events there. I will tell you, coming from Colorado, it's as hilly and as challenging as anything that we have in Colorado. So if you are a really good cyclist, you will love this course all day long. So hopefully, hope that you guys will look at that as an option to qualify for that particular Worlds. Hamburg, Germany. And the cool thing about Hamburg is they have an incredible experience putting on events. As you might know, the largest spectatorship event in the world is Hamburg. And for the elite races that they hold in that particular location, there are over 20,000 people that come down to the city center. And the body of water where you race is in the city center. And then the bike course goes out this very narrow, very circuitous route that they hold to the same route. But it's a beautiful place. We'll have a hotel more than likely just outside of town a little bit to allow us the freedom to get out and do rides without traffic woes and stuff like that. But Hamburg is another one of those incredible cities that really becomes a trademark location for us because of the time they put into supporting the sport at the highest level. And then Zofingen will be on the schedule again for long course due. We talked about that. Middle distance due still needs a home, and winter triathlon still needs a home. So that's a little bit of your 2023 schedule. As you heard from Lindsay, this appears on an infographic on our site. So take a look at it, check it out. You'll see the qualification documents, how to qualify for these particular world championships, as well as what these world championships will hold for discipline options. All right. We're going to put a close on this, put a bow on this package as best we can. We're going to do a little bit of a close. Next town hall is going to be March 2nd at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We hopefully this time works for most of you. We're going to cover, again, updates, news, information, other things that we'll be telling you about is what's new and exciting in the worlds of world championship locations and dates and all that stuff. So we'll cover some of what we did today as a review, but we'll also have some new things we'll cover in the next one. So don't forget, March 2nd, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Now, what I want to do in this closing is sort of speak about the Olympic Games very quickly. As you all know, the Winter Games are happening right now, and we've seen some unbelievable performances from some of the Americans. Most notably, Chloe Kim. Anybody watch that yesterday? The women's snowboard half pipe, unbelievable performance. The young athlete, Olympic medalist prior to this Olympic medal that she won again, this gold. Phenomenal athlete, fun to watch. Nathan Chen, men's free skate champion by a large margin. Probably one of the most graceful skaters, powerful, graceful in the same sentence, usually isn't noted. But what he's able to do with his quads and what he's able to do with his magic on the ice is amazing. And you'll get to see him again later. And then Lindsay Jokabellis, the snowboard cross, one of the oldest Olympians for the U.S. at a mere 37 years of age, also wins gold. Probably the curliest hair I've also seen in my life as well. But amazing team. This is their Olympic Games. Guess what? World Championships are our Olympic Games. And so we hope that all of you have a chance to take a look at the schedule, see what events you want to do. If it's not competing in Worlds this year, you have a chance to compete next year. Wearing the red, white, and blue is so special. There is nothing like it. The opportunities you have to tell stories for the rest of your life, to share the experience with people that you care for is unmatched. And so we hope you will join us for the next call, March 2nd at 4 p.m. And certainly feel free to keep the communications open with Lindsay. Be careful, pace them so she doesn't get hell all at once. And she'll also go back and look at this recording and pull up questions we didn't answer and respond back and a communication back to you so you guys can get answered the questions that you actually posed as part of this call. So have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy yourselves, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you.
Recording stopped.